Hey, how's it going, everybody? Finally got a pickups vid for you guys. Anyways, before I start showing off the sword, the reason I haven't done any videos in a while is I've had to use this room as storage. I ended up having a really bad leak in the ceiling over my bedroom slash other collection room. So I had to move a whole bunch of stuff in here, and I couldn't even get at the computer. So, as you can see, I still got a lot of stuff in here. So I'm going to have to be really careful showing this off. So mind if I'm looking around a bit, making sure I'm not going to stab something with it or knock it over. I'm surrounded with stuff I can break. Also, right off the bat, when it comes to the price I paid for this, my pawn shop obviously didn't take the time to look this up. And obviously, whoever the poor soul was that brought it in got ripped off big time. They didn't get a damn thing for this sword. And some of my pawn shops are notorious for that. But when it comes to not looking it up, this pawn shop pretty much specializes in the sale of guns. I'm in Arizona. Guns! Guns! Every guns! So it's like, that's pretty much the situation here. Everybody wants a fucking gun. But me, I don't need a goddamn gun. Somebody breaks in here, all I gotta do is... and something will eventually impale the son of a bitch. So, the price was damn cheap. But, yeah, they obviously didn't know this was a real deal here and not a fake or just a reenactment type sword. It's, again, Arizona. Rednecks, y'all love to reenact the war that y'all lost, so yeah. We got a lot of that kind of stuff floating around here, especially at the swap meets and whatnot. I'm always running into just reenactment swords for Confederate, American, whatever. But usually they just look too freaking new and shiny, or they always seem to miss something major when it comes to a replica for the majority that I see. I know you can get really good ones if you got that kind of money and you want something that looks authentic, but usually they're pretty new looking. This has definitely seen some use. All the rust area, patina on the scabbard and stuff, it's all in the right spots, and the blade definitely shows its age. Pretty much everything on this shows age. I've done very little cleaning on it as I want to keep it looking old. This one is from, well, when I looked it up, so far it appears to be an 1840 model for the sword type, but the date on it is 1871. So, on with the show. Show the scabbard here first. I've only found a couple of number markings on it. One of them was well hidden. The other is at the end of the scabbard here. As you can see, it is stamped 19. Otherwise, no other marks anywhere else, other than the quality on this is really good. We definitely are a stickler for detail on making things just look perfect. Right down to the rings here. I got to really look at it to see where they push the two ends together. Everything's nice and clean like it should be. On rust. Then the top half here, which is about even on both sides. Obviously, this was the side that was against the soldier. It's all in the right spot to where it'd be from just having it against your body from sweat or rain or whatever. And then the outside area, it's definitely got some patina on it, but nowhere near as bad. You can see there. And So I'm going to try to show this as best as I can, man. This camera doesn't do it justice. I'm using the built-in camera on my iMac, but the software I'm using won't let me do like 720 and 1080p, man. So I'm stuck using 480. Had a better program, but this computer decided not to like it anymore. So I haven't tried it since. It was a debut, one where you can download a free version of it. It gives a little bit more playability than this program, which right now I'm using VideoPad Video Editor, free version. And I haven't had any problems with this, so I'm sticking to it. You can see a nice patina there from rust. And on cleaning it, pretty much all I've done is whoever had this last must have stored it in the garage, like maybe grandpa died and it was a hand-me-down, or they didn't want it outright. So they just, who knows? I never know around here. When it comes to the price that I paid for this, I don't know. I just don't know. You'd think they would have at least wanted maybe a little bit more for it. As if it was a fake, man. It's a damn good one. But after the research that I've done so far, I have found a few similar to it. Is old enough to where different makers, different styles. You never know when it's going to be custom made for a specific soldier or whatever, to where they add a little bit more detail or not that much detail or whatever. Because this one's a bit fancier than some of the others that I've seen of the same type. And not all beat up. It's got a few little dents here and there, but just no big deal at all. All the areas where it's been put together, everything's just nice and clean. Say, really had an eye for detail. So anyways, first half. Now for the pointy half. The pointy stabby half. Which, this is not my first time trying to do a video on this. I've been trying to show it off as best as I can. Like I said, man, it's just, this camera will not show the detail. And some of it, I think, is it's picking up the patina, where it's blending into all this nice decorative work that they did on the blade. It's really pretty. Otherwise, this area, both sides, I gotta find the website so I can say who it's supposed to identify, but it's got a coat of arms on it, which I should be able to show to you guys pretty good here. And then on the other side, I believe, is the stamp for who made it, which that may be hard to show. It's a picture in an oval with three letters, but they're really small. So anyways, I'm trying to show you guys coat of arms on here. And on other ones, I found it to where it's got the coat of arms on the blade. Some of them, they've literally put it into this part just to make it fancier, whatnot, just depending on the maker. About as close as I can get without smacking the computer. Otherwise, there's the coat of arms, and in the center of it, there below the crown, it has a cross on top. There's two lions diagonal, and then like two little castle type things diagonal. Let's see, get this in close enough to where maybe you guys can make it out. Oh, better than I thought. Okay. That is what the maker mark looks like. Almost looks to me like a conquistador helmet. with a sword going through it, and then the letters, I believe, are F, either an R or B. I gotta dig up my magnifying glass so I can zoom in on it because it almost looks like the bottom end is separated like an R. It's just hard to tell with the naked eye. Otherwise, the F and D can make out pretty good. This one I'm gonna have to turn it upside down here. There's too much stuff to that side. Anyways, in the nice area where it's got all this vine pattern, it's real pretty. It says FAD, a very weird looking D to where it could mean something else. Then Toledo, 1871. And I've seen plenty of them to where it just has the initials and then Toledo. Some of them have it larger to where it says like Fabrica de Toledo. So once again, it just depends on who made it. I don't know what it's supposed to be called. I'm just going to treat it like a bayonet because that's mostly what I collect when it comes to vintage arms. I'm just going to call those blood grooves. As you can see, the one on the top is longer. Stops right about there. And this one, and all the ones I've seen like this because of the type it is, I'd say if the blade was still sharp, maybe starts about right there on the bottom. And about there on the top. It's meant more for stabbing, not slashing. Kind of like you'd be fencing with it. See the bottom, blood groove or whatever, a lot shorter. I'd say about maybe a foot long, at most, or whatever. So anyways, spot it again here. It's well hidden. This is where I really need to find my magnifying glass. Just got to get the light to hit it just right. Otherwise, just above the spine of the blade on the guard here, stamped in the brass, is the number 25. Stabbing my computer right in that area. Just can't see if I can show it to you upside down. Nope, not gonna happen. So just take my word for it. I'm gonna end up knocking something down. You see, I got stuff everywhere, man. I got shelves above my computer here too, loaded up with stuff to where I can cause a lot of damage unintentionally. Otherwise, shoot the grip here. Really freaking beautiful. All brass with plenty of tarnish on it. The inside a little bit more tarnished, hence probably from the person's hand going against it. And as you can see, hammered, not screwed on, like a lot of the repros or just ones for reenactment. And where they got the tapering areas there on the different levels, it's got little tiny grooves in it. I just can't get this camera to pick them up. Then the grip for The age is still in really good condition. It still has the covering on it, so that hasn't dry rotted off. It's just really, really hardened. I have seen one without the grip cover here, and basically it's just wood, and then they got some grooves in it for the wire to fit, and then they'll put the cover on and probably some type of a glue, and then have the wire just to reinforce or whatever. I'm just guessing. I'm mostly into collecting bayonets, man. On swords, this is one of the few vintage ones I have found. Let's see. Show the other side here that's above the maker mark. Maybe that'll show up. Let's see. It's really, really pretty. Just can't get it to pick up good on this camera. Got a portable one I could hook up somewhere to the computer. The problem is this program does not make it smooth like this. Guys would be enjoying the video while you're throwing up. Because it's like, it definitely causes some motion sickness. It gets all twitchy. This computer just doesn't like the camera that much. Yes, I'm going to wipe this off with my shirt. I will smear it with some WD-40 after the vid here. On cleaning it, what I used was just the lightest possible grade of steel wool, which is used for polishing. It's so light a grade that you can use it to take the oxidation off of a car's windshield without scratching the glass. It's really, really fine. So it's just enough to take off fresh rust, as there was some active rust on it just from it being stored. I don't know what kind of storeroom they got at the pawn shop. It could have been from having it in theirs. I don't know how long they had this before they set it out for sale. Sometimes it'd be somebody that didn't make enough payments to where they had it just sitting there, or sometimes they just take their sweet time getting it out. But it's one of those things, right place at the right time. Especially when they had it marked at $39 and the dude was nice enough not to charge me tax. So flat out $39. And see, I could find all the other info on it, markings, the type it is and whatnot. I just haven't looked out and found the maker mark. So I'm still hunting around for that, so I'm going to show it to you guys one more time here. Upside down. Like I say, it looks like a conquistador helmet with a sword through it, and then 3 letters. And pretty much been just searching through Google. I'll do the same thing on bayonets and just put in the type it is and just do a picture search until I find somebody with the same type or very similar. Which on very similar, I found one that they don't show enough pictures. It's on one of those auction sites like WorthPoint, which fortunately this one gave the price that it sold for. It's why I've been frying my eyes trying to find a match to see how much this thing's worth. But it's one where I had to go in and translate everything, which I can do on Google Chrome. Firefox is a little bit more tedious on that. But let's see. Yeah, I think it was in euro. 600 and something euro, and it translated to 700 and something on the converter. They just didn't have much information on it other than the type of sword. They didn't really say anything on the maker marks or anything. Like I say, the picture that really showed that it could even be the same maker is very similar on this. The only difference is that coat of arms was on this instead of on the blade, or maybe both, but the rest of it, man, just spot on. So if anybody out there that collects this kind of stuff knows that maker mark, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep researching, and if I find out who made it, I will just add it into the description or whatever on this video. Otherwise, for all the people that are subscribed, my longtime watchers and new people, as I've gotten a few new people since the Holocaust hit and COVID or whatever, the mass disease, having to forage the Mohave wastelands for food and weapons. And I haven't been getting out that much because, once again, Arizona, COVID is strong here. Also, stupidity. Our numbers keep going up. Not, well, yeah, on deaths. It's enough to where my mom lives with me. She's in her 80s. She only gets out if she's going to the doctor. Otherwise, no, man. It's just too freaking crazy. And I've gotten friends that have gotten sick, so I usually do all the grocery shopping, and then if I have enough time, I'll check out a Pawnshop or I'll check out Goodwill or whatever. I've only ventured downtown a few times, and then it just started getting too crazy. A lot of it is freaking COVID, and we still are getting tourists just going through that hit up some of the thrift stores and stuff, and they're not thinking. No, I don't need a stick for the 6 feet. I need to bring this. 6 feet. Oh, sorry. Band-Aid. Here you go. Oh, still bleeding. Super glue. Duct tape. Because, duh. And, so far for me, man, nobody in my family's picked it up, unfortunately. And, it's really hard, but I have said a few nice things about Walmart, kind of, lately. Maybe hidden in the vids. I can't remember. Otherwise, F Walmart. My best friend that I've known since kids, man. We grew up together. Right up to high school and whatnot. It's like just a really good friend of mine. Works at one of the Walmarts in Utah. And, yeah, he's got some conditions that he was born with or just came on. My parents used to be in the campground business, and we also had mobile home park up top, so it was kind of half and half. Upper levels, mobile home park, bottom level, all campground and stuff. And it's still going. For anybody interested, man, you won't see my ass there because tons of freaking tourists now and lots of freaking noise as it got bought out by a major company, but it's a River Rest Resort. My parents used to own it back in the 80s. That's where I grew up. Anyways, he was in a small little single wide, and his parents chain smoked something fierce, so he picked up a lot of the lung problems to where he just never had that much energy. And then, now that he's turning into a geezer, like me, he's only got 2 years on me. He's already got a pacemaker for AFib, so he's got those problems. But what it did to him is he was able to stay home and get past it twice. First time he got the 14 freaking days that they're supposed to give you legally, so you can possibly, but probably not, get past it. It's not long enough. Going back to work, and a few days later, as in that weekend, he got it again, and it hit him even worse, to where it just really hit him in the lungs because he was already messed up from it the first freaking time. But it's all the side effects. He started getting blood clots, where I can't remember where he said the first ones were, where he had to go in and literally have some stents put in, and then Once again, goddamn Walmart, man. They hardly gave him any time off, and he's got to work. He's tried to get on SSI and stuff, which I don't see why he couldn't, but it goes back to you can't just stop working when it's the only thing bringing in money. So, had to go back to work, and then a few days later, he's walking around his apartment duplex, and all of a sudden he started feeling just really, really out of breath and weak. So, went to the hospital again, and he was getting the clots in the lungs, which can be part of having COVID because it does havoc on your lungs. That's one thing my brother-in-laws have been saying when they've dealt with people at the hospital is one of my brother-in-laws, fortunately, he gets to work at home, so he hasn't been there since COVID. I believe he just does inventory type stuff, so he can do it on the computer. But my other brother-in-law that lives close by, he's an OR technician, so he's right there during surgeries and stuff. He says, you don't want it. You don't want it. The havoc it does on the lungs, it's bad. It's stuff to where you can have long-term problems. So, not the flu. You can get past the flu by taking just over-the-counter stuff. This, it's like, even if you get a mild case, which he's seen, it's just, it gives some weird side effects. And even weirder, a couple of my mom's friends, husband and wife, they both ended up getting it to where she got past it. Also, my best friend's wife got it, but I guess she got past it faster. She picked it up working at frickin' McDonald's. Big Mac attack or something. I don't fucking know. Why is that just messed up? But, yeah, this lady's husband, he got it way worse, had a really hard time getting past it, and as far as I know, the hospital here in Kingman and in Bullhead and Havasu are pretty filled up with patients to where if you get it bad, where you have to be hospitalized, they send you out of the state. And I don't know where. My brother-in-law here ended up getting stents as he had a heart attack the year before we had COVID hit. And he had to go to Vegas for the stents, and then COVID hit as they opened up the casinos, bringing in more COVID. And it's kind of like moving on up to the top, high-rise apartment in the skies. They kept moving them up to the next floor. Kept getting filled up with people. Then finally he was on the top floor and they released him as he had to stay there a while. Fortunately, he hasn't had to go back. Otherwise, he's still working. What it did to this lady's husband is all of a sudden he's got really bad depression that just hits out of the blue. Just like all of a sudden he's just really, really depressed for no reason. And he's never had that. Just weird. So, I don't know. As you can see from my freaking picture that I use, I've got my plague doctor mask, so maybe if I dress up as a freaking plague doctor and start poking at people, they might get a freaking hint, but I've seen multiple Elvis sightings in the last few months, and he's aged a bit. I've seen the dude a few times. Long hair, scruffy. He's lost his shades. Still wears the bathrobe and slippers. Really hoping there's something under it. Because every time I see him and every time I see somebody in the female persuasion walking past this guy, it's like, please don't flash me. Please don't flash me. Please don't flash me. Because he's weirder than shit, man. I don't know what his wife's name was, but when he's with his wife, it's like the dude, he's off his rocker. Let's call her Margaret for now, so it'll be at freaking Goodwill. Margaret! Margaret! And he's in one of those scooter things. But yeah, bathrobe, not much else, but he still abides. So remember, everybody, abide. And don't let anybody steal your carpet because it ties the house together. Have a good one, everybody. Long enough freaking video, man. Hopefully to do all right.